Class is in session.
Yes, it is time for your weekly Alaskan history lesson. Laurel Downing-Bill, author of the Aunt Phil's Trunks book series, joins us back on the couch for story time with Aunt Phil. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back. So today we're going to talk military buildup in Anchorage specifically.
Yes.
All right, a buildup as we're talking about a bit of a build down.
Correct. Yeah, with all the talk of losing about 2,600 troops in Anchorage, I thought perhaps Alaska history fans would like to know how the bases actually got into Anchorage in the first place, or during World War II. Prior to the war, we only had about 100 GIs in all of Alaska, and they were located in the Chilkoot Barracks in Haines.
Amazing to think that was just it. So most every Alaskan knows that it was World War II that sparked the troop buildup. But knowing that there were only 100 troops, were there calls for a larger presence before World War II?
Absolutely. Alaska's delegate to Congress was Anthony Diamond, for whom Diamond Boulevard, Diamond High School are named.
Okay.
He had been asking Congress to send planes, Army garrisons, build a road that connected Alaska to the lower 48, but his pleas fell on deaf ears all the time until war broke out in Europe in 1939, and then Congress started listening and appropriated money so we could have some military facilities between Anchorage and Sitka, and from Kodiak all the way down to Unalaska.
So Diamond, without really knowing it, a bit of a visionary, calling for a larger military here before the war. So when did the first troops actually get here to Anchorage?
The first troops arrived in Anchorage in June 27th, 1940, and all of Anchorage's 4,000 residents greeted the Alaska Railroad train that brought them up from Seward, where they'd landed by ship. And the troops gathered their belongings, and down the hill they went and set up their tents on an abandoned hayfield that was between Ship Creek and the Chugach Mountains.
So I find it kind of interesting that the troops arrive, then they build them a base. Not the other way around.
That's right. Yeah, the engineers started building the base right away to house 7,000 troops. Wow. And they endured hordes of mosquitoes and terrible rainy weather. And they also had to rely on a 2-inch pipe that connected from Ship Creek to their camp for their drinking water. They named the base Fort Richardson after Brigadier General Wilds P. Richardson, who was the first president of the Alaska Board of Road Commissioners between 1905 and 1917. And then the engineers also carved out an airstrip on the base, and they named that after Captain Hugh Elmendorf, who had died in an airplane crash in 1933 on Wright Field in Ohio.
Wow. So all this, what did this mean for the population of Anchorage?
Oh my gosh, it just skyrocketed to 9,000 people by mid-1941. And then when Pearl Harbor was hit in December 1941, of course, the military immediately started evacuating all of the military families, and so the population plummeted.
Wow. So we talk about this buildup, but by the time the war is over, what are we looking at?
Well, by 1946, after the war had ended, the Air Force took over the base, and it became your Elmendorf Air Force Base. And then Fort Richardson was rebuilt 7 miles closer toward the Chugach Mountains. And then in 2010 is when the two of them merged, and that's when it became Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson.